Hi, this is Vijay Bambani here, and I'm still recording my videos from my residence. I hope you're keeping abreast of the markets, keeping your finger on the pulse of the market. You're observing what's happening in the financial world around you, and basically also taking your trading and investment calls accordingly. I also hope that the market is treating you well. Now in this video, I want to excite your thought process, and I want you to address and even take steps to basically bulletproofing your portfolio and ensuring that your lifestyle is a little more stable and steady as compared to what you were possibly doing earlier. In this video, I basically want to bring to your notice a critical aspect that separates the savvy, successful, and the worldly wise trader from an ordinary one. What if you were a kind of an investor cum trader who believed in allocating all his or her assets to an equity-only portfolio or a trading-only portfolio? You know what would happen? Your graph, your revenue graph, career graph, life graph, call it what you want, would be going up and down with the markets. Many a times, you would feel that you were a football being kicked around by Mr. Market. Sometimes you were extremely happy, and on those days, you would be chirping like a bird and making plans with your family about where you're going to take them out for a good foreign holiday or wherever else. Buy them a car or buy them new clothes or whatever. And the next day, next week, next month, whatever, you were down in the dumps and you were basically talking about cancelling your Sunday dinners outside. You know, I've gone through that stage in my life. Very early on in my career as a trader, and I started in 1986, that's a long time ago, I was naive, I was a rookie, I was a newbie, and I thought equities were everything. So I was 100% equity oriented. And wherever the markets went, my mood swings would go accordingly. Then I realized that I had to basically even out my revenue streams so that there would always be money coming in from some source or the other. That's when I started diversifying into fixed income based securities. I invested money in fixed deposits, in the Public Provident Fund. I invested money in government bonds, sovereign rated bonds, and the like. Why is it important? Why should you have an income-based scheme? And now after 2001, you have equity and index options. You basically start writing call and put options, and you start to generate income. That is if all goes well. Why is generating passive income so important for a trader or an investor? Let me walk you through the paces. It was 2009. If my memory serves me right, it was January 2009. And I was at the launch party of ET Now. The channel was basically going to start off pretty soon. It was the first party after the bone-chilling, nerve-wracking 26/11 attacks on the Trident, the Taj, and the Chawar House by the Pakistani terrorists. Now, in January, when we went for the launch party of the channel, there was a debate between the biggest bull in India and one of the most prominent traders in India. And this debate was all about whether you should allocate all your money to long-term investing or you should allocate some amount of money to short-term trading. Guess what? The guy who was advocating short-term trading drove home a very important point. He said if you're making a portfolio which you're going to lock away and not look at for the next 5, 8, 10 years, that's all fine. That's probably going to give you multi-baggers. It's going to make you rich. It's going to take you out of a 2-bedroom hall kitchen flat and get you a 3-story bungalow. Whatever your aspirations may be. But assuming that you're making a 5-year plan, in those 5 years, there would be 60 months. In those 5 years, 60 times your maidservant would want a salary. Your electricity company would want you to pay the bills. Your telephone company would want you to pay the bills. Your society, housing society where you're staying will want you to pay the monthly or the quarterly bills. Your school children will demand school fees, etc., etc. Survival expense. You have to keep the home and hearth running. This was a debate about long-term investments versus trading. Let me take this debate a step further. Are you going to do only short-term trading, or are you also going to have fixed income investments? So, ideally speaking, I am taking this debate forward from where that particular debate ended. Let me ask you this one question. Suppose you enter into a swing trade and you think this trade is going to span all of 1 week. The market is nobody's slave. Your stop loss is not hit, nor is your target. But the trade still looks promising. Unfortunately for you, 2 things happen. It's the end of the month. You have to pay rollover charges because you want to carry over your trade from this month to the next. And secondly, you have to pay your monthly bills. What do? Do you square up a trade just because there is no money to run the house for home and hearth expenses, because you need to pay your maidservant salary, you need to pay your electricity and telephone bills, you need to pay your rent, you need to pay your school children's fees? Or had you kept this money in a fixed income yielding security, let's say a fixed deposit or a sovereign guaranteed or government guaranteed bond from where you receive a regular income, and you let that money take care of your day-to-day survival expenses while you focus completely on your trades? Ask yourself this question, and I leave you to answer that question. What would you rather do? I have been told by many investors and, to my horror, even some financial advisors, that bonds, fixed deposits and other sources like PPF, etc. are not lucrative enough. Hey, I'm not into it because it's as lucrative or less lucrative than trading. I'm into fixed income because it will allow me to trade with a peace of mind without having to worry about putting food on the table for the family. I know that I'm telling you to segregate money into a relatively lower revenue or a lower return activity, but you're doing that so that you can focus on the higher income activity with complete focus, complete attention. Which is why activity like option writing to generate revenues on the span margins that you deploy as principal come into play. It makes eminent common sense to basically branch out your money, some of it in trading, some of it in income yielding securities. If you want to ensure your long-term survival in the markets, you cannot think otherwise. Behavioral science tells us that traders are brain warriors. We fight with our ideas. We win or lose with our ideas. To that extent, you should be extremely careful about whose advice you allow to impact your trading and investment decisions. I, as a trader, having been in this market for 34 years, would bet my money that survival is possible only after your existential expenses are well looked after from passive income. Do give this a thought and then ask yourself, can you really be an equities only investor or trader, or should you also focus on income? It could be all the difference that you always wanted to see in your returns all this while, but you were missing out. Do give it a thought. I'll say goodbye in this video till I meet you again in my next. If you're watching this video on YouTube, don't forget to click like on this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the comments section, do let me know what you think about this video and what you would want me to record in my next video. Also, please don't forget to recommend this video to your family and friends and help me spread the cult of knowledge-based investments and trades. Do take very good care of yourself, your health, your family, your business, your trades and your investments. Thank you for watching my videos. Signing off for now. Also, do not forget to subscribe to my free email newsletter, Fast Profits Daily, and get my free guide, How to Trade Markets Like a Pro.